Hey guys, this is Blake with the Three Hand Hunter channel, and I'm here to show you the Tribus TRI-03 Power Reserve GMT with a COSC certification or COSC certification. This is an amazing watch, and it's an amazing watch because of the price that I got the watch at. I don't know if I would have paid full retail price of this watch. I'm not sure if I'd had the same feelings, but for the price that I paid, this is an amazing timepiece. Let's talk a little bit about this, and I want to share with you guys how I actually came across this watch. So first of all, I'd like to give a shout out to Chris with the Watch Chris channel, his YouTube channel. If you guys do not follow or subscribe to his channel, make sure you do so. I've been a subscriber since he started. He beat up a SKX. I think he buried it. He threw it in the wash machine, and that's how I believe he started right around then, his YouTube channel. I've been watching it ever since. I think he's got an amazing collection, and it's very eccentric. I don't want to say eccentric. It's very diverse. He's got a diverse, beautiful collection of watches, but he also does a lot of reviews, and more importantly, what happened here is he did a news video about Tribus as they were offering a special 70% off. The watch typically will retails around $1,700. And for the complications, I mean, it's in pretty heavy competition as far as price goes. You start looking at, Tissot and Mont Blanc and, some of the, Christopher Ward, which this is a spinoff. I'll talk about that here in a second. But this is a GMT with a Power Reserve, a 40-hour Power Reserve. And as you can see, it's a beautiful timepiece. I'm gonna talk about the case and everything else here in just a moment. But I wanted to say, Chris pointed this out, and I jumped on it because I got it at a price just above $500. I liked it so much, I have another one coming in, and I'll talk about that here in a moment, why I actually bought another Tribus. So just stand by if you want to see and hear the reasons why, because I think it's important. Let me talk a little bit about Tribus. So Tribus was started by the three sons of Christopher Ward. Christopher Ward is no longer with Christopher Ward, the British watchmaking brand. He went on his own with his three sons, and they started Tribus. Now, I'm not sure exactly what Christopher Ward's job is there. I think he's more of an advisor, but obviously he has a lot of connections in the watch industry. He knows exactly where the watches are produced, how, all the networks, and he's got the namesake of Christopher Ward. So I hope they continue to make great watches, because this is a really, really great watch, but it does have an identity crisis, and I'll talk about that here in just a second. But this watch, the build quality of this watch is really cool. Now, there was some speculation that Tribus was going out of business because they were offering a 70% discount, heavily discounted. But if you go to their website right now, they are actually taking pre-orders of this specific watch for April of 2022. I think it's, April 2022. So if you can get this watch at the discounted rate that they are offering, and I think they're still offering a special on some of their watches, I mean, I got to show you why it's such a great deal. So let's talk a little bit about the watch itself. So the watch itself, some of the specifics is the watch is a 41 millimeter diameter. Okay, it is 50, and I have my calipers here somewhere. Just excuse me really quick. This is just over 50 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip. You'll notice there's no drilled lug holes, which I'm a little bummed out about. 20 millimeter lug width. The case diameter is about 12 and a half. Okay, and that's with a, whoops, I have it in inches, I'm sorry. Let me change that again. Yeah. So at 12.5 millimeters that's with this really big, very beautiful dome sapphire crystal. The watch itself, like I said, it has an identity crisis. What do I mean by that? And then I'll talk about the case and how it wears and everything else. This watch, I think, is a mixture between a dress watch and a sport watch. On their website, it says it's a dress watch, and it has no lume, so that makes sense. It's a beautiful, beautiful watch. But I think it's also a sport watch because it's got a screw down crown. It's bigger, at 50.5 by 41 millimeter. It's a bigger watch. So I think it's more of a sport watch. So it's a in-between dress watch and a sport watch. So it's got a bit of an identity crisis. Now, I was watching a Tim Mossel review of a Jaeger. I can't even say the word. It always sounds better in your head than it does when it comes out of your mouth, right? Anyway, a Jaeger, a Master Geographic, and he said it was a mix between a dress and a sport watch. He called it a all-arounder, and I think that's what this watch is. It's kind of an all-arounder. I've been wearing it nonstop since I've received it over the last week, and you'll notice I have it paired up with a rubber strap. There's a reason for that, because I think it's more of a sport watch, although it does not have any lume. Now let's talk a little bit about the case and everything else. So if you can let me see if I can get a little closer up view of the case here. Beautiful finishing. All the cases for the Christopher Wards look exactly the same. Their inner rotating bezel looks like they put a crown up here, and you can rotate the bezel, but it looks like all the cases are exactly the same. Nice turn down lugs. The difference between the 12.5 and maybe some little bit bigger or smaller is based on the case back on some of the models. But you'll notice it's all brushed all the way around. A little chamfer right across the side of the watch, which is, by the way, it's beautiful, right? Look at the crystal. That is the most beautiful sapphire crystal. I think it's so pretty because it sticks out a little bit like a dome somewhat, but it's not like domed, right? It's domed, but it's like flat, but it's got these rounded corners, which makes it really beautiful as far as the outer tracks around the outside dial of the watch. Now, you'll notice because there's a little bit of a bezel, the dial is probably closer to 40 millimeters, but that's a big size, especially if you're talking a dress watch. It is going to wear, it's going to feel a little bit bigger. And I'll put it on my wrist here in a second. You probably see some footage of me wearing the watch around, but I really enjoy wearing it as far as the size goes, and that's on a 7.25 inch wrist. It does have a screw down crown. You'll notice that the crown is signed and it's etched. And take a look at the case back. It's a screw down case back, it's with screws, not a screw down like a diver. But notice the SoProd movement. This is a SoProd C115 GMT Power Reserve. Chris on the Watch Chris channel said that they ran them both with Solitas and SoProds. This is a pretty neat and pretty beautiful movement. They've done some nice finish work. You can see the perlage on the rotor and some of the bridge and the case of the movement. It's really quite pretty. Okay. Now, like I said, no lume, and that's the thing that if they really wanted to make it a sport watch, this watch would have been great with some of like that Seiko Sarb 033 type of lume, just a little bit of lume on around the minute markers perhaps, or the hour markers, or minute markers, and then having a little bit of lume on the hands. I think that would have been a really nice touch. But the watch itself is so beautiful. The matte dial. Notice the sub dials. They're stepped, and in the GMT there's like multiple steps in there. It's just a really pretty watch. It says chronometer off to the side, right by this hourly, the hour hand. But you can see the Tribus is in white. It would have been nice if it's in silver, because if they're going to go with black and silver, they might have just went with all silver. But it still stands out, and I think it still looks beautiful. Now, what you're going to notice is on the watch also, this watch specifically, the model that I got, came with this beautiful leather strap. You notice I haven't even worn the strap yet. I put it on once just to see how it feels. It's a great leather strap. It's got this tang buckle. It's polished. I'm not a huge fan of polished buckles because, you know, when I'm on a desk and I'm typing, it scratches all that up. And with the brushed case that you see here, I don't know if it really matches all that well, but you know, I mean, we can agree to disagree if you disagree with me. I prefer to wear it on other straps. So, in a different way, and I'll talk about that here in a second. And I want to tell you that with this watch, I was a little. You'll notice I have it on this FKM rubber strap, and I wear this 20 millimeter strap on a lot of divers. It's got quick release pins. Quick release on the strap, and same with the strap that came with the Tribus, which is good because there are no drilled lug holes. By the way, this little pinhole right here, this is how you advance the GMT. So you take like a toothpick, or you know what they included in the packaging, which I'm going to show you here in a second. That's how you advance the GMT. All right, so this is like a there's no date on this TRI-03 on the Tribus, and that's why I think it's like a three-hand watch with an extra complication. You know, having the Power Reserve, having the GMT, really nice features of this watch. The SoProd has a 42-hour Power Reserve, yet the Power Reserve here says 40. So I've yet to try to max it out and see how long it will the reserve will last, but it does say 40 on the Power Reserve itself. Now, before I show you the packaging, I want to tell you what else I did. I bought another Tribus, and I thought these were such a great deal that I went out and bought the Liverpool edition red dial Tribus in stainless steel. Why did I do that? Because I wanted the bracelet. There's no bracelet option with the Tribus 03. And because I think it's more of a sport watch than a dress watch, because I like to have my dress watches a little smaller, a little thinner, I wanted to buy the bracelet, and the bracelet has a polished middle link, and it's brushed all the way around. And I think, based on looking at the site, the bracelet will be able to work on this watch. Also, I'm getting the Liverpool. It's red. It's a cool red dial. My son's a soccer player. Maybe someday he'll play for Liverpool. He is a goalkeeper, and he's pretty darn good. So he's playing high school goalkeeping. So maybe, you never know, right? So and actually, because the Liverpool watch was the Liverpool contract between Tribus was discontinued due to some and I wasn't following the story, but you never know. You know, 20 years from now, that watch could be very valuable to football junkies in Europe and all around the world. So I think it's a really pretty watch anyway, but I really wanted the bracelet. So that's what I did with this, and I can't wait to put it on a bracelet and show you guys what it's like. Now, let me just say really quick before I show you the packaging that this watch came with. Some of the drawbacks, and I have to say that I love the watch and I love how it wears. And I'm going to match it up against this. This is a Borealis, and you can see the difference between a 41 millimeter. These are both 41 millimeter watches, right? But the reason why the Tribus looks like it wears bigger is because look at the bezel and the dial for the Borealis. It is smaller. This is why it's such a classic design with Omega, and why companies homage this particular model of the old Seamaster, is because you notice the case actually protrudes outside of the bezel, and then the dial is smaller. So it doesn't, even though it's a 41, it doesn't wear like a 41, but this does wear like a 41. And you can see the size difference between the two, right? This also has shorter lug to lugs, but that's not the watch I wanted to show you. I want to show you what the Tribus looks like on my wrist. And here it is on my 7¼ inch wrist, and it wears beautifully. Because of the fit that I have with this rubber strap, this crown doesn't protrude in my wrist at all. And it's not It's a beautiful crown. It's great, got great crown action. It's not sharp or anything like that, so it wears very comfortable. I love this watch. I love the way it wears. And I love the case. Actually, everything about this watch, I can see why Tribus actually stuck with this case shape all the way around, probably for cost reasons. One, because they wanted to just keep it universal across the board and across the line. The only changes you can see are like the case backs on some of the watches. Bezels all seem the same. It's a really classic, beautiful design, and it wears really well. Like I said, I think it's like Tim Masso said, I think it's a great all-arounder. But really quick, let me show you the, and let's see if I can zoom out just a little bit. Okay, just a wee bit. And this is the box that it came in. This isn't gonna work too well, but I wanna show you a couple things, okay? This is the beautiful brown. This is the wood box. Press that little button, opens it up. You get your COSC certification. There's the case that it came in. It's really nice. This little package has the warranty, and there is a little tool. I don't know where the tool went. Did it fall? Oh, there it is. So there's a little tool to advance the GMT, but I'd rather use a toothpick so I don't scrape the case when I'm doing that. But overall, the presentation was nice. But what's really nice is at this price, this watch is a beautiful watch. Like I said, at this price. At $1,700, a company like this is gonna have a lot of competition, especially with the, you can find a lot of companies with a lot of, a lot of history. Tribus is a brand new company. Yes, Christopher Ward has been around since 2004. So you could say, well, the lineage goes back, almost 20 years. I agree with that. And Christopher Ward I've owned 2 Christopher Ward watches. I actually am a big fan of Christopher Ward. I've had the Trident C65 GMT and just the Trident itself. Those watches are great. And so I know that with Christopher Ward behind Tribus, you're going to get the same quality. I was confident of that, and I was not disappointed. This watch wears and feels way more than the $500 I spent on the watch. Now, if you can get this for a decent discount, I think this is a wonderful timepiece, and it's beautiful. And it's very classy, and so I have nothing but good things to say about this. So, guys, if you made it this far, I want to introduce myself. My name is Blake. And I'm a bit of a watchaholic. And if you made it this far, you, my friend, are probably a bit of a watchaholic too. So thanks for sticking around this long. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Give me a thumbs up. Comment if you've had the Tribus or you took advantage of this special. I want to hear what your thoughts are on the watches you got. All right, guys, have a great one. And thanks for tuning in today. We'll see you on the next video.